Hello. Tonight we're discussing the last parsha of the Torah, V'zot HaBerachah, which stands, V'zot HaBerachah stands, and these are the blessings. This parsha is always read on the Saturday, on the Shabbat of Simchat Torah, and it recounts the blessings Moshe bestowed upon each of the tribes, and covers the story of Moshe's death and describes the greatness of his personality, prophecy, and deeds. Let's look at it a little bit closer, a little bit more in depth. So, these are the last moments before Moshe will ascend the mountain, which we will discuss in a few seconds, and will pass away. So he blesses the tribes of Israel individually, exactly the same way as Yaakov blessed all his sons, all the 12 tribes. Prior to that, Moses praised God, retelling how he descended from heaven and amongst myriads of angels to give people of Israel the Torah at Mount Sinai. He praises the Israelites as well, how lovingly and unconditionally they accepted God's gift, the Torah. Reuben and Judah were the first two tribes to be blessed, and Reuben was blessed with life in this world and the next world. Judah with success and victory in the course of his battles. And as we know, Judah's branch of the family are the ones which King David, King Solomon came from that tribe, as well as Messiah, when he will come, will be definitely from the tribe of Judah. The holy tribe of Levites was next to be blessed, and they were blessed with being faithful to God, and through all the various trials and tests which Israelites encountered over the 40 years, as well as they were given the gift of teaching the Israelites the Torah and to serve in the temples. Then Moses gives the blessings of the tribes of Joseph. Blessed Joseph with a bountiful portion that will be blessed with ample rain and dew and produce and delicacies. And Joseph is also blessed with unusual ox-like strengths, which will also be used to destroy enemies. Then Moshe blesses the tribe of Zebulun, which will have success. He blesses them with success in business endeavors, and tribe of Issachar, which is the tribe of Torah studies. So, and the scientific tribe, basically they are the Torah huchems, the Torah knowledge of Jewish people. Then he blesses the tribe of Gad with strength of a lion, and he blesses them with the ability of the lion to tear off the arm and the head of his enemy in one blow. The tribe of Gad were in the forefront of Jewish people when they entered the future land of Israel and were conquering it. They were praised by Moshe for taking the eastern bank of Jordan River as well. And basically we believe that the proximity of that place, this is where Moshe is actually buried somewhere. We don't know where. Then Moshe blesses the tribe of Dan, which is actually blessed as well with the strength of lion cub. Tribe of Naphtali, his portion is in Israel and is lauded as one of the tribes that brings satisfaction to all inhabitants and is filled with God's blessings. Tribe of Asher was blessed with sons and with abundance of olive oil, to the extent that he will immerse the tribe of Asher will be able to immerse their feet in oil. That's how much olive oil they could produce. The orchards were growing on their land absolutely to unbelievable proportions. Moshe continues his blessings and praises the Israelites. He states that God, who dwells in the heaven, is also ready to come to their assistance at any time. And these are his words. Fortunate are you, O Israel, who is like you, O people saved by God. It means that doesn't matter what, Hashem will always come to our assistance and will help us in any endeavor, whatever we undertake. And then on the last part of this parsha, basically is talking about Hashem telling Moses to ascend the Mount Nebo. This is the mount which Moshe ascended and where he passed away. And once on top of that mountain, God showed him all the land of Israel. And God told Moses that about all the future of Jewish people, so that he can retell Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov that God has fulfilled his promises. This is a very interesting point, because what we realize from this, that if Hashem tells Moshe that he should report of what he saw as far as the land of Israel is concerned, and what he saw as far as the future of Jewish people is concerned, and he should report that to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, we learn from that the souls in the spiritual world can actually talk to each other. And that's an interesting point. Moshe then died at the age of 120. But he didn't die of an old age, because until his last moment, his eyes were never dimmed and his skin was never dry. The Israelites mourned Moses for 30 days, and Joshua immediately assumed the mantle of leadership. And the Torah concludes with eulogy for Moshe. He was the greatest prophet who ever lived, and he performed incredible and awesome miracles before the eyes of all Israel. Somehow, Moshe defied the natural law that states that all systems lose energy over time. He never became old and frail. We know that people, especially leaders, eventually with time lose their energy. They become, not as capable as they used to be when they were young. Leadership is one of the main human activities which takes a lot of energy, wisdom, and ongoing ability to balance priorities, responsibilities, involves risk management, and requires people skills. There were times when Moses came close to burnout and to despair. What then was the secret of his undiminished energy, particularly in his last years? The Torah suggests that his eyes were undimmed and his natural force unabated. And Rebbe Sachs basically says that the first was an explanation of the second. Why was the energy unabated? Because his eyes were undimmed. He never lost his vision, his ideals. He never lost his useful approach to achieving results. In youth, we are all idealistic. Moshe managed to keep that until the age even of 120. He was as passionate at the end as he was at the beginning. about what he wants to achieve, what his project is all about. His commitment to justice, compassion, liberty, responsibility was absolutely unyielding, unstoppable. And despite the many disappointments of his 40 years as a leader in the desert, he still maintained that. The moral is very clear. If you want to stay young, never compromise your ideals. Never give up. During my life as a professional, I met many people in leadership positions who were half paralyzed by the cynicism and could not find any motivation to lead for success. Some of them were spiritual leaders as well. I felt sorry for these sad and defeated people. They still went through the motions, but their heart was no longer there and in what they were doing. Doesn't matter what it was. They were not doing the job with all their strengths, with all their heart, with all their desire. They were just going through the motions. In other words, the hard rocks of reality destroyed their idealism of their youth, their original, fresh ideas which they came into their activities with. In my opinion, is that without passion, you cannot be a transformative leader, and unless you yourself are inspired, you cannot inspire others. It's impossible. Moses never lost his vision from his first encounter with God at the bush, at the burning bush. The same way as the bush has burned but was not consumed, Moshe was burning all his life but was not consumed. That is how I see him. He was an unstoppable leader. So long as the vision stayed with him, as it did until the end of his life, he remained full of energy, full of desire to succeed, to achieve success for Jewish people. You feel that in the sustained power of the book of Devarim, right through the whole book. It's the greatest sequence of speeches in Tanakh. And this particular parsha is the last one. So the rule is, never compromise on your ideals. If you find one way blocked, seek another way. If you find one approach fails, there must be another approach. If your efforts do not meet success, keep trying again. More often than not, success comes just when you're about ready to give up and accept the failure. And history knows plenty of examples of that, and plenty of leaders who achieved success exactly when the moment of failure was looking absolutely imminent. Garibaldi, Churchill, Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, Baal Shem Tov, Baal HaSulam, Hafetz Chaim, and many, many others. If achievement were easy, we would take no pride in it. There would be it will not be an achievement. It will be a matter of cause. Greatness demands persistence. The great leaders never give up. They keep going inspired by a vision they refuse to lose. Looking back on his life, Moshe must surely have asked if he had really achieved anything at all. He had led people for 40 years only to be denied the chance of reaching the destination, the promised land itself. He gave them the laws they often broke. He performed miracles, and yet they continued to complain. Cynics, people who are cynical, they are the lapsed idealists. They begin with great expectations. They always dream, and then they discover that life is not that easy and the things do not go as they hoped for in the first go, and they do not achieve success straight away. And our efforts hit obstacles, our plans are derailed, we do not receive the recognition or honor we think we deserve. So we retreat into ourselves, we blame others for our failures, and we focus on failings of the others. We tell ourselves we could have done better, but so we become very cynical and very judgmental of the others. And normally this is a typical trait of a loser. People who look at other people's successes and count their money are normally losers themselves. Perhaps we could have done. Why then did we not? Because we gave up. Because at certain point in time we stopped growing. This person stopped growing, and when that happens, he loses out. We console ourselves by not being great, but by treating others as small. When we do that, demeaning their efforts and mocking their ideals, this is typical jealousy working here, because a typical loser is jealous of somebody who is a little bit better than he is, or more successful than he is. That is no way to live. This is the kind of moral and spiritual death. Life is derech eretz, an ongoing learning experience. If you are prepared to learn something new, you can be 120 and can be still young. And if you are not prepared to learn something new, you can be 23 and already old and mentally frail. Moses never stopped learning, growing, teaching, leading. In the book of Devarim, he delivered at the very end of his life, he rose to the eloquence of unbelievable proportion, a vision, a passion that exceed anything he has said before. This was a man who never gave up his fight. Rabbi Sachs gives another example. The Times once interviewed a distinguished member of Jewish community at his 92nd birthday. The interviewer said, most people, when they reach the age of 92, begin to slow down. You seem to be speeding up. Why? The man replied, when you get to the age of 92, you see the door begins to close. I have so much to do before the door closes, that the older I get, the harder I have to work. That too is a recipe for Arichut Yamim, a long life that does not fade. Never compromise your ideals. Never give up in defeat or despair. Never stop journeying merely because the way you long and is long and hard. It always is long and hard. Moses, his eyes were undimmed. He did not lose the vision that made him, as a young man, a fighter for justice. He did not become a cynic. He did not become an embittered or sad, though he had sufficient reasons to be. He knew there were things he would not live to achieve. So he taught the next generation how to achieve them. The result was that his natural energy was unabated. His body was old, but his mind and his soul stayed young. Moses was mortal, but he achieved immortality, and so by following in his footsteps, can we. The good we do lives on. The blessings we bring into the lives of others never die. I wish you all the best, and we will start reading Torah again next time. We will start again from the beginning. And I hope this time around I will not have a break in Exodus, because there are few chapters, quite a few chapters, all actually of Exodus is missing in my last year endeavors. But this year I hope to fulfill every chapter and to deliver you some ideas, I hope, which you may find useful. Goodbye. See you next time.